self-awareness in terms of like, what's your strengths, what's your weaknesses. People say to me like, how did you get 500,000 followers on Instagram? Now, why should you listen to me? Because I've been highly successful in doing the thing that you want to do if you're an online coach watching this. You want to be the first name in fitness. If you want to know the secrets of how I've generated nearly $8 million in sales, when 5 years ago I was a real estate agent, I previously did a podcast talking about what I learned from Grant Cardone. The other person who had a huge impact on me, who I used to drive around in my Mercedes in Surrey listening to, was Gary Vaynerchuk. Today, I'm going to discuss the 5 game-changing lessons I learned from Gary V, aka Gary Vaynerchuk. First one he talks about is like hustling with hearts, like relentlessly grinding, and also the game of business, because the biggest thing I don't think most people understand is the amount of volume and reps it takes. People say to me, like, how did you get 500,000 followers on Instagram? I was like, have a look. I posted like 7,000 times. Was that by luck? If I'd say anything, I'm actually pretty shit at Instagram. I posted 7,000 times, only got 500,000 followers. Same with like YouTube. I've got 31,000 subscribers and verified. We've probably posted 1,000 videos. So I suck at YouTube, like statistically. But I've just done a lot of volume. We've got like 17 million views, but I've done a lot of videos, right? And this is one of the big things, is that you have to understand that when you have a strong purpose and why, and you just keep turning up, eventually you'll win. Because like persistence will break the resistance. It's like a sales saying. It's like you just need to keep going. And most people fold like a fucking stack of cards because they haven't got the minerals for it. And the reality is you just need to keep going. Because if I can do it, then there's no reason you can't. And there's tens of thousands of other fitness trainers who are crushing it online. So if that's what you want to do, there's no reason you can't. And when I started in 2016 or wherever it was originally, like there wasn't many people doing it, and it wasn't a proven path. It was much harder than it is now, whereas people are much more likely to accept the reality of having an online trainer. Now, the big thing I took from Gary after that was, he has a really good book. It's called, he has many good books, I would recommend reading all of them, but particularly it's called Jab, Jab, Right Hook. And then what that basically means is like give, sell, in terms of like the ratio of how much value you want to give to people before just trying to ram sales down their throat. Whereas it's like law of reciprocity, give enough value and then people will eventually buy from you, right? Because you've helped them. So if I give an example, is if I explain to someone how to do like this insane bicep curl technique and they add an inch to their arms, and then someone tried it in the gym, like, holy shit, I've never felt my biceps like that. They'd be like, they've got a positive thought and relationship with me straight away, right? And they'd be like, if this Charlie's free stuff, I wonder what his paid content is like. Must be pretty sick, right? And as soon as you understand that, it's a frame switch. And the big thing I'd say with that is that don't be afraid to give away your best stuff. And the more I think about that now as well, it's like, this is really what Alex Hormozi pushes, which Gary V pushed like 6-7 years ago. But when you look at what Gary V has done, is he literally just documented everything he's done in his life and films fucking everything. And this is actually our big plan for Q1 next year. We just hired someone this week to come onto our content team. So we're literally hammering every platform. And this is like Grant Cardone, Gary V, fucking Mac strategy basically. So the omnipresence technique. So we're going to be posting on might even be 5 Instagram pages. We're going to do 2 Snapchats, maybe use Snapchat at the moment. We'll have 4 TikTok accounts. We'll have 3 long-form YouTube accounts, 3 YouTube Shorts accounts, LinkedIn, my personal Facebook, 2 email lists, 2 podcasts. There's going to be a lot. But the reality is what that gives us is a shitload of traffic and a shitload of awareness. Plus we run paid ads. So the reality is, if you're looking to get in shape or a fitness trainer looking to build a business, if you're watching this, you're going to see a lot of me because you're not going to fucking get rid of me, because I'm going to dance around and follow you around the internet. And once you click on one of these videos, you won't be able to escape, and we will literally picture your ass and follow you around. So good luck, because I'll see you for the next 5 years, whether you like it or not, unless you block us. But that's the reality in terms of what you want to do. Because when you get to that point, is you're then the first name that person thinks of when it comes to like getting in shape and getting a great body, when it comes to building a fitness business. That's what you want. You want to be the first name in fitness. You want to be first name in fitness business coaching, whatever it might be. And with that, you also need to do what Gary does and has done very well, and is embrace the digital age and predict what's going to be next. And I've tried to listen to him as much as I can. I'm like a big believer in what he says, but I haven't implemented it particularly well. So like, I tried to jump on the TikTok thing like when he first started talking about it. I didn't really know what to do with it. I'm not the type of person to dance around and be a fucking retard, so didn't really know what to do with it at that point. We now have about 250,000 followers on TikTok, so not doing too badly, but I wouldn't say that we execute that strategy particularly well. But which is why we are going to things like Snapchat now, because you need to stay ahead of the 8 ball and stay ahead of the curve, because all of these platforms are changing very quickly. And one of the things you need to understand is not having all your eggs in one basket. So this is one of the big mistakes I have made in the past, and I see a lot of people making. Like if your Instagram got disabled or the reach on Instagram goes down, which it has already, then you're going to struggle. Which is why one of our main lead generation strategies is actually on LinkedIn, which Gary Vee actually talks about a lot. It's crushing it. And we're making a lot of money with. So if LinkedIn is something you'd be interested in learning more about, drop me a message and we can talk about that, because most trainers are trying to target busy professionals, yet they're not targeting trainers who are busy professionals on a platform for the busy professionals. The next big thing that Gary talks about is self-awareness. So like self-awareness in terms of like, what's your strengths, what's your weaknesses. So if I look at me from the start, my weaknesses, I've never been particularly good at terms of like written copy or like writing stories. I'm not illiterate. I can obviously write and read, but that's not my strongest point. I didn't used to be very good on camera either. I'm naturally very introvert. However, I was in good shape and I was good looking. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll just do, at the time, a lot more like topless ab photos because I was selling fitness products, and workout clips because I was really good as a trainer. And that really worked for me, and I understood how to give massive value to the audience, and focus on my strengths. And then being honest about my weaknesses. So if you look at my very first YouTube videos on my fitness channel, Charlie Johnson Fitness, they're pretty fucking shit, like in terms of the way I talk to the camera. And I remember the first time someone put a YouTube camera in front of me, I was like, just literally froze, just didn't know what to do. And I still say now, even like public speaking, other than the camera, isn't my strongest point, although I feel very comfortable in talking to the camera. Now, the reality with this is that when you start to bring up some of your weaknesses, you become more rounded, and that generally comes down to reps, right? If you've never spoken in front of camera before, then you're probably not going to be used to it. If you've never spoken in front of big crowds before, then you're probably going to be a bit put off by it, and it just comes one of those normal things. The fourth thing Gary really goes into is providing massive value. So before you ask for any sell, you have to give, jab, right hook. So jab, right hook. Giving value, then go for the sell. Too many people now are just trying to slide in people's DMs and sell them stuff. And it's a bit like the analogy of you're trying to take a girl out for trying to sleep with a girl before taking her out for dinner, right? Like you need to at least talk to her before you're trying to sleep with her, right? There is some sort of code of conduct, even nowadays, and even in Dubai. And the reality with that is that the more value you give to people, the more people are going to be inclined to come and pay for your services. And the higher the value you give for free, the more people are going to be inclined to pay for your services. Now, the beauty with what we do with social media and technology is you can do this at fucking massive scale. And you can also create virality in terms of getting eyeballs. Like, for example, this week we had a video that's got 1.4 million views on Instagram. It's gone super viral. That's a lot of eyeballs. It was just a funny clip about stretching. But the reality is that will pull people into the rest of our platforms, who will then see the more the salesy posts, the more educational posts. And the big thing you need is this: if you're struggling to make money, you need more people to know who you are. Because if I don't know you, I can't buy anything from you, right? So the more people who know you, the more money you can make. The more people who know me, the more money I can make. And that's why you need to grow your brand and grow your audience. And what I would actually say is important about this, and if you're listening to this podcast, it's probably true, is contextually, why would you listen to that person? So like, why did I listen to Gary Vee back when I was driving around on my stations days and 6-7 years ago? Because he had a highly successful online business in marketing digitally online, which is where I wanted to go. Why did I listen to Grant Cardone back then? Because he was highly successful in sales and making loads of money, which I resonated with. Now, why should you listen to me? Because I've been highly successful in doing the thing that you want to do if you're an online coach watching this. I've done nearly 8 figures in online fitness sales. And we still have a fitness business with 1,300 active clients right this day. And there's no one else on this planet who can say that, who actually teaches fitness business, who actually has a fitness business. And the last thing I want to finish with is this, and I actually put a post in our client Facebook group talking about this yesterday, and that's one of the most important skills you can have in your business is actually not looking at monthly revenue. What you want to do, you want to zoom out, you want to look at like 3 monthly, year to date, because that will give you a better spectrum in terms of what's going on, because fluctuations in your business are normal. And what you want to do is you want to pay patience a long-term vision. Like when I started all of this, I didn't know I was going to end up living in Dubai. Ironically, I never even wanted to come to Dubai in the first place. Cool story though. The first time I came to Dubai, it was my wife's birthday at the time. I remember I had about $9,000 in my PayPal account that I saved up from online coaching when I was in my estate agent's job, and that paid for my first trip to Dubai. And for me, I was like, that's fucking baller. Like, this should just pay for the whole thing. Now, ironically, I live here 5 years later because of the success I had in that business. But the long-term vision I had when I started to see success with that and proof of concept when I first got client results, first got clients to pay me was, holy shit, I can do this, and I'm going to take this to the fucking moon. And I didn't quite know how. I didn't quite know how it's going to look like, but I was like, I'm all in. Like, put the fucking crash helmet on, buckle up, and we're off to the races, right? And you don't have to plan everything out, and you don't have to have everything like, oh, on this month I'm doing this day I'm doing this, but have a vision of where you want this to go, and then just be patient and do your best every day, because that approach will then compound you for a long period of time. Like I mentioned that I suck at YouTube and done however many thousand videos, we've got 17 million views, but eventually I'll crack YouTube. And the reality is, even our fitness podcast probably should have done better than it has. We've got a couple of 100,000 downloads. I've done 300 episodes. It's got maybe 400,000 downloads. But that's still a shitload of people. And the beauty of that's still sitting on the internet, and people listen to that right now whilst I'm recording this and whilst you're watching this. And the reality is, all this previous work I've done, because I've been patient, I've had a long-term vision, is compounding for me to keep fucking winning every second, every minute, every hour, because I've done the work already, and that's stacking the deck in my favor to keep growing the business. So one of the big things I understand very quickly, and I talk about a lot with clients we work with, is leverage. So leverage is when you can do one task that will then continue to have a positive effect for a long period of time. So like working on building the business rather than working in the business. So if you're stuck in your business right now, what you need to do is get yourself out and focus on working on building the business to get to the next level, and not being stuck, being a busy fool, just doing check-ins. And I've been there. At one point I had like 200 coaching clients myself. And the funny story, I used to try and get them all to check in on the same day, and it was a disaster. So the big things you want to think about is long-term vision, give plenty of value, turn up every single day, and embrace technology. And if you don't know what to do, then you need to ask and you need to find out to be at the cutting edge. Because when you have the right information, that's how you get ahead, and that's how you get to the next level. And that's exactly what we do with our clients in 7-figure scaling systems. If you want to find out more about how we can help you, what I suggest, if you want a trip to Dubai as well, we have the biggest fitness event of the year, 10th and 11th of November, on the Palm, our Dubai Mastermind event. Hit the link below this podcast. You can get your tickets now. I think we've got about 5 or 6 left. We have limited spaces available for sit-ins. So we'll see you there if you want to get involved. If you enjoyed the podcast, took a shit ton of value of this, make sure you share it with a friend, and we'll see you next episode soon.